We have on set with us Father Donald Chambers, the General Secretary of the Antilles Episcopal Conference. And he's here to chat with us a bit about the document Fiducia Supplicans, which has generated quite a bit of controversy in dioceses around the world. Today's paper, for instance, saw a statement from the African bishops refusing to accept the statement. Many see it as a walking back on traditional church teaching with respect to the LGBTQI community. Some have even gone so far as to see it as a potential for schism within the Catholic Church, recalling the days of Vatican II. Father Don, welcome to the set, and we want you to walk us step by step through this document. What's its intent? What is the purpose behind this document? What does it say? And more importantly, what does it not say? Welcome to the set.
Thank you very much. Just to correct something you said in the introduction, the African bishops have not rejected the declaration. What they have done is that they have said that they will need time for further reflection and pastoral application because of the unique context of Africa. So their document from the beginning sets out that they are in a line with the Holy Father.
And therein lies the confusion, because what is reported in the media is often not what is contained in the statement. But please, take us through this document.
Yes. So first of all, let us look at the title of the document. So the title of the document is Fiducia Supplicans. What does that mean? The literal interpretation of that is asking for trust.
Okay.
So in the document, it makes a distinction between what is called a ritual blessing. And a ritual blessing, it says, is required when a ritual blessing is done. The person who is blessed is required to conform to that blessing. And then it talks about non-ritual or spontaneous blessing. And it's interesting to say that the document says this, that the spontaneous blessings are simply gestures that provide an effective means of increasing trust in God on the part of the person who asks.
To ask for the blessing.
Hence the title, Fiducia Supplicans, literally means asking for trust, similar to what the disciples did in the scriptures when they said to Jesus, increase our faith. So this document is about increasing our trust. So let's go to what the document says. The document is based on a theological understanding that blessings is grounded in the incarnation. By virtue of God becoming human, God has blessed humanity. The second point it makes is that it talks about descending blessings, that is, blessings coming from God, and then ascending blessings. Third, it goes on to talk about that the church now is given the power to communicate God's blessing. So through the church, God blesses humanity. And then the document goes on to talk about blessings seeks. The person who seeks a blessing acknowledges that the life of the church springs from the womb of God's mercy. So when someone spontaneously asks for blessing, they should not be deprived of that. They should not be deprived of that. Blessings is free. And finally, the document then goes on to talk about concerns for couples who are in irregular unions and, of course, same-sex marriages. And it makes it very clear that one should neither provide for nor promote a liturgical blessing or a liturgical ritual for them because their situation does not conform to the teachings of the church. And it makes it very clear in the document the church's teachings on marriage between a man and a woman for the purpose of procreation. It is very, very clear. The document is very clear that the church does not accept same-sex union. It is very clear on that. However, what the heart of the document is saying is that if someone comes to you spontaneously after Mass or after a service and say, Father, can you bless me? We should not refuse that. That is a non-ritual, spontaneous blessing. Any blessing that is ritualized and takes place in the context
of the liturgy,
it should be conformed to the lifestyle or the teachings of the church.
Are we seeing then, Father Don, what an inclusive church really, really means now through this kind of statement by Pope Francis?
Oh, certainly. And this is in line with Pope Francis's pastoral approach from the very beginning. Pope Francis, since his papacy, the start of his papacy, has never challenged or attempted to change the teachings of the church on marriage. He has not. What Francis has been doing from the very beginning is saying that the church has to take a new pastoral approach. That is, how do you apply the teachings of the church to real life situations? When the proverbial tire hits the road, what happens? The church's doctrines are always objective. They speak in general. But when it comes to the application, how do you apply that? What Francis is saying, that it should be applied with mercy, with understanding. And so this declaration is in line with Francis's...
It's consistent with that.
Exactly.
Because we've heard phrases like the church must be a field hospital for all.
Exactly.
The church, the pastors must smell like the sheep.
Exactly, yes.
Those kinds of statements, and this, in fact, there is some consistency you see with that. So clearly now, has the church changed? Does this statement change the church's teachings on marriage?
Does not. Absolutely not. It does not change it. In the document, it makes very clear the church's position on marriage between a man and a woman.
Has this document, or does this document purport to change the church's teachings on same-sex relationships?
Absolutely not. The church's teachings on that has remained the same. It has been consistent. It has not attempted to, as some persons are arguing, that it's a backdoor way of wanting to accept same-sex marriages. Absolutely not, it has. And that is where the position of the African bishops have come. They have accepted the doctrinal teachings of this declaration. What they have asked the dicasteries for doctrine and faith to do is time to reflect deeply on the declaration.
Because the African bishops have spoken about the specific cultural context.
Exactly.
And I think that is one thing that Pope Francis has been very clear on in terms of the incarnation of the church wherever the church finds itself.
Exactly.
Yes? So their position then becomes consistent with that.
Exactly.
Yeah?
And so what they're asking for is time for deeper reflection. And it's not just the African church that is challenged for deeper reflection. All the conferences globally are invited to do so. And in fact, the bishops of the Antilles Episcopal Conference, through its president, has published an initial response, but the bishops intend to do a more detailed and comprehensive response, looking at the pastoral implications of this.
Is this giving life to what synodality really means?
Absolutely. Synodality is about walking together. And the people of God is made up of bishops and priests and lay persons, everyone walking together, excluding none.
Father Don, this has been a very, very interesting discussion. The church is alive. The church continues to challenge us to full, active, and conscious participation. I would ask you for a blessing now, but we'll have more time for that at another time. Father Don, thanks very much for joining us on Altos, and we'll see you again at some point in time. Thanks very much.